Okay, so I have been called in to finish up this shower. This shower was started, I guess, some months ago, and so was the floor, and it never got finished. So it's been sitting around for 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 months, with nothing getting done. And then the customer contacted me, asked me if I could finish it. So there's not a whole lot I can show here. Sometimes when I do videos, it's only to kind of give my opinion and advice on certain things that I believe in or don't believe in. And in this case, that's basically all I'm going to do, is go through a little bit of critique. Not necessarily on the tile, although the tile was kind of done wrong in a lot of different ways. I'll go through that also, but in regard to the fiberglass shower pans. So let me start off by saying this used to be a bathtub in here. So the customer wanted to do a tub to shower conversion and decided to opt for the prefab shower pans, which I'm not a big fan of. They are specific sizes, and in this case all bathtubs are the same length and they're usually about the same width. So they sell these that are specifically for putting in a shower after you've taken the tub out, and so it fit pretty good. I really had nothing to do with any of this so far, and I like the way the drain sets. The drain was transitioned from, no, I guess it wasn't, it was a tub before, but I think this is a 2-inch pipe, so it got transitioned below grade at some point, and they went ahead and brought the pipe up to this level. There's apparently a gasket that fits over this inside of this very deep well, for lack of a better term. It's probably about 2 inches deep, maybe 1.75 inches. So this gasket actually fits inside of here with the drain cap on top and silicone in, and you're ready to go. So relatively easy installation as opposed to putting another tub in, which sometimes can be a little more difficult. These actually were set exactly right, because your wallboard always wants, anytime you do a bathtub and it has this lip, which all bathtubs have this little lip, although not all bathtubs are plastic, some are, but it's going to have a metal lip that goes up, and so your wallboard, no matter what it is, sits on top of the lip. When you put your tile over it and you overlap it, there's no way that water could ever weep up your tile. And I have seen a lot of contractors make the mistake of furring out their studs and trying to get their wallboard over the lip and sitting on top of here, which is a big no-no, because if water should ever get up in here, then it weeps up your wallboard. So whatever your wallboard is, it needs to sit on top of that lip, which it does perfectly all the way around over here too. So that really makes me happy. I like that. So that when the tile eventually goes on, as you've seen they've already done, then the tile sits directly on there without any penetration of the wallboard, because there's no wallboard back there. If you see, it's just part of the tub. Anyway, so getting back to the walls. What was here before is probably 25, 30-year-old ceramic tile. The way they did it 25, 30 years ago is that they had the sheetrock that enveloped the whole bathroom, as you see right here. This is original sheetrock. Then they put a second layer of sheetrock on, 1/2-inch sheetrock, and then they put white ceramic tile on it, and they have what's called mud caps. So they're like bullnose, sort of, except they don't just stop. They actually wrap around that second layer of sheetrock. And that's pretty typical on a tub. And since this was a tub at one time, that is very normal to have that done. What was not normal is whoever did this demo literally took out the one board with the tile that stuck to it and just pulled it out. You can see where the nails or the screws were that held the two boards together, and that was wrong. When I'm doing a demo, I take a Sawzall or even a keyhole saw and I go up around the perimeter. All this board comes out, back wall, side wall, everywhere. All the board comes out, and I replace the backer board. They didn't do it, and I'm not taking it out. And the reason I'm not taking it out, it's a big no-no to put tile on sheetrock in the shower. Whatever. Red Guard, which I have right here, is going to cover this wall at least 2 coats, maybe 3, because I only have 2 walls to do. They didn't do this back wall. And so obviously I can't do the back wall, but I'm going to cover these two walls with probably 2 to 3, at least 3 coats. And so the backer board, no matter what the makeup is, doesn't matter with the red guard on it. When you put the red guard on, and assuming that water gets through your grout lines, which really should never happen, and it's very rare that it happens on a wall anyway. So people freak out about, oh my God, you know, my grout line, but it's a vertical surface and water tends to dry out a lot quicker and doesn't set there the way it does on a horizontal surface on a shower pan, tiled shower pan, that is. So anyway, the point being is that this whole surface is gonna get red guarded 3 times, and then the tile is going to be set on top of it. That's the reason why I'm not taking out the wallboard. Plus I wasn't hired to take out the wallboard. I was actually hired to patch in. This job was kind of half-assed done. So this piece of wallboard wasn't here, and I think there and there, and I did some patching. A couple areas where I had to patch in that was not completed. So I'm waiting for everything to dry. I've patched everything, and I put the fence. The thin set I have is gray thin set because obviously it's gray tile and it's going to be gray grout. So I went ahead and put thin set on all of these seams so that they're nice and sealed up. Got some tape, put some tape around them also, so I'm good to go with the red guard. As soon as this dries, I will red guard all of this. In the meantime, this is the pattern the customer chose, and this is a ceramic tile that actually is a lot thinner than this porcelain tile. So to do it right, again, you know, this is part of my critique thing. I'm not suggesting that, you know, that I'm gonna do it right, because I wasn't hired to redo everything. I was only hired to finish up what is here. So the best I can do is tell you what not to do. First of all, this tile has a lot of lippage. Like, I don't know what how can I show you this? This is crazy. The mistake that he made, I'm going to tell you about it in a second here. So watch this. Whoop. Yeah, so right there. Right there. That's where it's stopping at. I got it right here too. It's really hard to show on camera. That's why I'm trying to do it with this scraper, but it's not really working too well. Anyway, there's quite a bit of lippage on this tile. Maybe about 1/16 of an inch or so that's sticking out on this side as opposed to that side. And the mistake that this guy made was that if I put my, hold on a second. If I put my finger up under here, I can barely feel any gap. Like, he put the thin set either straight onto the tile or straight onto the wall and put the tile on it. It looks like he put it straight to the tile because I'm not seeing thin set on this back wall. So there's no room for error. There's no room to manipulate your tile. And that's the mistake that he made, is that the thin set on there is just barely on there. When you put a layer of thin set on your wallboard and you use a trowel and trowel it out, and then you back butter your tile and you put it on there, you have probably about this much thin set. And so you can push in, pull out, you can do a lot of manipulation, especially when your walls aren't straight, and you can manipulate your tile in such a way that you don't end up with any lippage. And so the big mistake that he made with regard to that is sticking it straight to the wall with one layer of thin set, probably pretty thin too. Really, really thin. I can't get that's maybe 1/8 of an inch between the wall and the end of the tile. Anyway, the point is that that's a mistake, and another mistake he made, because had he bumped it out more, there's already some bump out here, you see. So you got about maybe 1/8 of an inch or better coming along here on the edge of this tile where it matches this one, because they're not a match. You know, this tile is probably about a little less than 1/4 inch, and this tile is a little better than 1/4 inch. So had he done this, what I already said about bumping out his tile a little bit, then he would have had 1/4 inch room to put 1/4 inch Durarock onto this wall, only where this ceramic tile is, and by the time he put his tile on here, the 1/4 inch Durarock and the 1/4 inch tile would have matched up exactly with this tile right here, and it would have been flush. So, just so you know, if you ever use a smaller tile, that's a little trick to use 1/4 inch Durarock instead of 1/2 inch, or, you know, 1/4 inch, whatever you use, just to kind of bump out the wall a little bit. Usually I'm not doing vertical border, I'm doing horizontal border. When somebody gets me a very, very thin tile, but their field tile is very thick, inevitably that's the only cure for that, the remedy would be 1/4 inch Durock. Anyway, getting back to, I tend to talk a lot, sorry about that. So getting back to the niche. I do not like prefab niches. I put a few in and they're never very friendly. This one is friendlier than most. Most of them are like aluminum, and the aluminum is thick enough to give you a little bump out from your wallboard to the edge of your niche. And this one was fairly flush with the wallboard, even though I buttered out some more thin set. The main reason I did that is because there was a gap. I don't know how he did this, but I think he put the niche in first and then set the wallboard up to it. So there was a gap here and I had to fill in that gap. And that's the reason I skimmed out that thin set on here. But I don't like these prefab niches. I'd rather build it myself and know that it's done right, rather than have to try and manipulate, you know, all this plastic stuff. Plus you're stuck. I mean, I wouldn't do it on the back wall, but even if you're going to do it on the back wall, you're a little stuck with size. You know, this obviously had a little soap area, a little shampoo area, but I can elongate them a lot further than what you can purchase at the store. And so that's just my personal opinion on niches. The shower pan is interesting. I don't, as I said when I first started, I don't like these plastic, what I call plastic shower pans. However, there is a lot of jobs that I go on where the shower pan is destroyed, meaning water has gotten into the grout for whatever reason. And so I have a lot of customers lately that are, you know what, I don't even want tile on my shower pan anymore. I just want to do a fiberglass pan and never have to worry about it. So for that one reason, these are good. However, they do have a tendency of staining. There are certain things that you can put on this fiberglass that will stain it, and sometimes they crack. And so if they stain or they crack, you're stuck taking out this shower pan same as you would a tile shower pan. Having said that, this is not going to ever leak. So the people downstairs will never have a problem with leakage into their ceiling with one of these shower pans. I just don't particularly like them, I guess, because I'm stuck on tile so much. But anyway, that is my critique of what's going on here. And so this is a relatively easy job. What I had to do is, as I said, all these patching things that are going on here so I can prep it for red guard. The next step after all this is dry, I will red guard these walls, as I said before, 3 times, and it'll be ready for tile. The same pattern is going to, not this part, but this same staggered pattern is going to be out probably about here. The math works out that I can get a half tile and a full tile to about this area right here. And so it'll just go back and forth all the way up to the ceiling. Same as I'll finish out this, and this will be the same thing, back and forth to the ceiling. And then eventually all this will get grouted as well as the floor. I'll reset the toilet and that'll be my part. So I will be back at some point. There will be no issues because I've already gone through them, but I will be back at some point to show you the final result. So 4 days later, this bathroom is complete. I finished out the back strip there that was left filled, or that was needed to be filled, and then I finished out the shower. A border vertically I have never done. I kind of sort of like it. My tile doesn't necessarily match up the way it's supposed to, because if you recall, it was probably 5 rows up before the guy stopped. So I had to kind of sort of match what was going on there. And so there's on the inside there's a little lippage, but there really shouldn't be. If the tile was set right, as I mentioned before, we wouldn't have that issue. So anyway, on both the front and the back, I did half and full, half and full, half and full. So I staggered it all the way up to the ceiling and used this little, what the customer got, marble, these little marble rope pieces going all the way up the left and the right. So that finishes it out pretty well. Kind of goes in line with the white stripe and the shower pan. Anyway, this shower pan will never leak. So if you want a leak-free shower pan, get one of these plastic ones, but don't call me because I refuse to put them in. I prefer tile. If tile is done right, then the shower pan should be fine. When it's done wrong, or there's no sealing going on, then yeah, it's going to leak. You're going to have problems with it, you know, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. But, you know, these are okay, I suppose. I'm just not fond of them. But anyway, the job is done. Everything's put in, and I'm out of here. On to the next job.